All right, audio in Studio 3. Here we have a Zoom Live Track 8. It is basically a really fancy Zoom recorder. The primary way you're going to record is to the Blackmagic Hyperdeck. You're going to get a stereo output, so you're going to get a left and right channel out of this box out of this board into the recorder. But it being a Zoom, it also allows you to put in SD cards in the back and you can get multi-track. So all of your inputs will have their own individual track wave recording if you decide to record directly to the device. So power it on, power switch in the back. You'll see the board boot up. And we're there. All right. So you have your LCD display here, and it'll take you through the different modes. So it boots up in recorder mode, which basically means it's ready to go. So the first thing you want to do is, if you decide to record directly to the device, you want to format your card. So while it's in recorder mode, you're going to go into setting, use this little scroll wheel, scroll down, you go to SD card, press the wheel, scroll to format, press the wheel, and if it had a card in it, it would be formatting the card. You just keep hitting setting to go back out. You have your red circle to record. This thing does allow playback just like any other Zoom recorder would. So it'll either play out through the studio speakers, or if you have headphones in, it'll play out through that. Square to stop it. This will let you cycle through your tracks. You have a tempo setting. This thing does have a built-in metronome because it's actually built for music. And that's the overview of the recorder mode. Next would be effect mode. It has built-in effects. So you have Hall 1 and 2, room, plate, delay, chorus, and then you have 2 vocal effects. The vocals are more custom stuff. Delay gives you basically an echo. Hall makes it sound like you're in like a long hallway or like a large event hall. Room, no idea. All of them give you different ways to change the effect. You can change the timing or change the decay of the signal through it. Next is your mixer. So mixing allows you to change what mix you send to each headphone jack, right? It has 4 headphone jacks natively. So first headphone jack is your master mix. That is going to be pretty much everything that you have active on the board. Then it allows you to do mix A, mix B, and mix C. So say you only want mic 1 to go to mix A. You would click mix A, turn up the source, or let's say we want mic 2 to go to mix A. You would turn up mic 2, hold mix A, and that would lock that in, right? So when we go back, the only thing that will come out of this is mic 2. Same thing for mics B or mix B and mix C. The next thing that's really important is your sound pad. That is these little lit up buttons here. Basically, it is pre-recorded sounds, 13 different sounds built into it. But you can also add your own custom ones. So right here where it says sound pad, you're going to click that. It allows you to pick buttons 1 through 6. So we can pick button 1. You're going to sound assign. And then it has SD card wave. So when you format your card in the device, it puts a sound pad folder on your card. Any sound you put in that folder will be accessible through the sound assign, and you'll be able to assign it to a button. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a sound per se, or gag sound or anything. It can be pre-recorded interview, It can be your intro music. It can be a ton of different things. Basically anything in a waveform. You can assign it to one of the buttons. It has a recording mode, so you can actually record your sound live in the studio and then assign that recording to a button. And then it has preset sound, and it'll let you choose between one of those 13 preset or pre-recorded sounds that are loaded into the board. Let's see, so we'll get out of that. And next is Scene. Scene is something that you're not really going to use in the studio. The short version of it is if you own one of these boards and you do different types of mixing, so say you are recording a podcast, you can set up a scene just for your podcast audio. Say you're doing a 3-piece band, you can set up your board for just that 3-piece band and load it as a scene, so that when you get to those spots, you basically you load that scene, and your settings are already basically loaded into the board. But because it's a public space and it's shared, it's something that you're probably not really going to use very often, and there's no guarantee that your scene would be there when you come back. So generally the board is going to be used in recorder mode for most of the time. All right. So next we get to the more mixer parts of the board. Red knob is your master volume. Blue knob is your effects return. So basically when you play an effect, this has to be up for the effects to play out in studio and to go to the recording. Right, and then you have rockers 1 through 8. 1 through 4 will be connected to our Shure SM7Bs that are always in Studio 3 around the table. Just quickly taking you through what each button on here does. Red button up here is your 48 volt. It is your phantom power. The 7Bs require phantom power, so for any of them to work, this button has to be down. There's one 48 volt button for the entire board. So if one mic needs it, it needs to be turned on no matter what. Next is your high Z, or your neg 26 decibels. Basically drops out that many decibels to even out your sound. It's, once again, that's more of an instrument thing. It's not something that you're really going to use in here unless you have a band in here, which I highly doubt is going to happen. Next is your gain. That's something that you want to set during your sound check and try not to touch while you're recording. A little bit of gain goes a long way. You don't want to turn it down too much or turn it up too much during your recording, because you're either going to drop out all of your sound or you're going to blow everything out. Next is your select button. This is a digital board, so all of your EQs, the effects, and your panning is all shared via these knobs over here. So the way that you use it is you want to select which channel you want the effect or the EQ to go on, and then from there you EQ it, you go to the next one, you EQ it, and you so on and so on until you have every channel that you want EQ'd, or you want the effect, or you want it panned left or right. Next is your rec play. Basically this will allow you to record just that channel if you want just those channels. So say you have mics 1 through 4, you want those recorded, but you don't want 5 and 6, or you don't want your sound pads. That's basically what that button's for. It indicates to the board if you want specific channels recorded or played. If none of them are selected, it records everything. Next is your mute. It mutes that particular channel to the room and to the recording. And then you have your standard volume rocker. Once you set your gain, this is what you're going to turn up and turn down the volume on those particular inputs with. And then next is for monitoring. So your 4 headphone jacks over here. Your master should always be the headphones for the person that is engineering the podcast or engineering your show. Your guests can wear headphones if they choose out of mix A, B, and C. If you don't have a custom mix for them, you can have the switch flipped up to where it says master, and they'll be able to hear everything. If they have a particular thing that they only want to hear, say they want to hear everybody else but not their own voice, then you can set that in one of the custom mixes for them. That is a short overview of the Zoom Live Track 8. They have a ton of videos online if you want to go more in depth. But yeah, that is the general overview of using Zoom in Studio 3.